Just a tough battle. Offense, I thought we did some things great. Defensively, we didn't play as well as we should have, and we didn't play that perfect game that we were looking for. Too many mistakes, too many points given up. We just didn't get it done.
Questions for Coach Blair? Front.
Jalen Thompson, AJC. Two questions. First, were you guys really keying in to stop Jermaine Martin, and how did that affect you with them taking the ball down the field? And secondly, can you talk about the comeback attempt that you came up with to stay in the game?
No, our plan was to stop A&T offense, and we didn't do a good job at that. The kids are relentless. They gonna fight. They're gonna fight to the end, till the last second is gone. So this team been doing that all year. They've been doing a great job of it. Just continue to fight and battle through adversity. So this is a very relentless team.
Coach, even in this loss, I'm sorry, Yakiri Thomas with Chits in the Sports. Even in this loss, is there any positives?
There's always positive when you look at it. You know, you come back the second half and you score points. I think it was 34 points in the second half, so there's always something positive looking at it and just going into it. You know, there's a lot of things that you can get out of this game from a coaching standpoint. We'll get back and watch film and see how well we did and some of the things we could have did better.
Hey, Coach, Ab Stanley for the three-point conversion. What are some of the things that your returning players next year can learn from a loss like this?
You know, the biggest thing is when you take a loss like this, you always learn from it. You know, and that you can't really give up that many points, and you have to score more points to win ball games. So, from that standpoint, you know, you have to be great on all phases of the game. Right there at the end, we get a high snap on the extra point try and give up 2 points there. So. There's always things that you have to work on. That's what I told them while I go in the dressing room. I addressed them. So the underclassmen, we got a lot to work on during the offseason. So we'll get better throughout recruiting and get back at it, line up again, do it again.
In the back.
Coach Joe Cook, 16 WAPT. Given how this game went, of course, a lot of points scored. Did you feel like if you guys could get just like one stop or two, it was almost two-score game, and in the second half, did you think if you got like one stop, you guys can get back in the game?
Of course, I mean we was hoping for that. There's just that one stop to get back in the game. We had a 14-point swing right there, and had some big plays fought against, but we could just that one stop that we needed. Maybe we could fight back. We could get then 7 points. I thought we had a greater chance to make a comeback.
Coach Travis Newsom with HBCU Football Matters. Where did you see the turning point in this game? It was early, but what did you see as the turning point?
The big plays, the long touchdown passes. I mean, you give those up, and you really don't have a chance on those. So you try to stop them as much as you can. So I think that was the turning point. Just giving up the big plays of it.
Maceo.
Coach Maceo heard the Crush Sports talk about Felix being home. It seemed like once he settled in, he just really started to adjust to the game plan, and he really got stuff going.
Played as well as I thought he was going to play. He did a great job in the pocket, moving in the pocket, and escaping the rush, and doing things he normally do during the course of the year. So he did an outstanding job. I thought he played pretty well, doing the things that he normally do. So it was one of those things that we just had to play catch up and coming from behind, and when you have to pass every down, the defense pin their ears back and come after you. So I thought that, Coach Washington did a great job with his defense and skies and things. The first part of the game now.
Back.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Ville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab, 12:30 a.m. Houston, KSOH. Wanted to ask you, I know you really need to go through the film to particularly see different types of things that happen, but I thought it was critical in the second quarter when you had a chance to get off the field and stop them and maybe go into half 7 points or even get it back even. You had a moment in that game where you get a tough third down call where you think you stop them and they end up scoring. What do you do in the locker room to refocus your team and say, hey, it's the second half, which you end up doing in the third quarter, but they also were scoring at the same volume you were?
The biggest thing is just to settle them down and just try to forget that first half that you played not very well, very good at. But just looking at it, you tell them just forget that half. You got 30 more minutes to make it right. So that's one of the things I addressed in the locker room. Just forget about that half and move on. And let's go out and finish the ball game.
In the back.
Coach Trey Monger, WLBT. What do you attribute those big plays to? Because it seemed defensively you weren't really giving them many sustained drives. It just happened to hit you on a couple big plays in the first.
And that was the thing, too. I mean, they didn't have to work too hard for those touchdowns. Just big plays. And that's one thing we always speak in terms of and during the pregame meal, not getting up the big plays. Bad eyes by the safety, the corners, and that's history, man. They run the wheel route. We don't get nobody back on it, so they run a double post and safety's up, bad eyes, and just do a good job back at the back end.
Dwayne.
Yes, Dwayne Nash from the Yard and Hero Sports. Coach, Felix had a huge day today, 5 touchdowns, 44 points from your offense. Did you expect this type of output from your offense, and did you expect this game to be a shootout like this today?
No, I didn't expect it to be a shootout. Really didn't. I thought that Felix played the way he normally played through the course of the year, so just a matter of us getting some stops there and giving the offense another chance. I never would have expected this game to be like it is, a high-scoring game like this. I never would have expected that.
Samari Terry, WJTV. Coach, what was Coach Thornton telling the guys or his defense during this game and at halftime?
The biggest thing is do their job, and they always tell them that. Do your job and don't worry about anybody else. And that comes to the time when you have bad eyes when you're trying to do something else that you don't normally do. During the course of the week, thought we had great practice on the defense side of the ball, doing some great stuff. And you have to be able to transition that to the field on Saturday, and we didn't do that today.
Luke.
Luke Williams from the Black Collar Sports Page. Coach, was the strategy, I think at halftime, Martin had only 1 rushing yard. Was the strategy to try to limit him, and was that what you think opened up the passing lanes for Carter?
The biggest thing is a running back like Martin, you can't really stop him. You just have to slow him down a little bit, So I thought we did a great job of doing that, at times. During the second half, coming out of the second half, he made the big run. Just didn't fit it right, pull a tackle, a dive, and we didn't do a good job at that. So, but other than that, I thought the guys trained themselves very hard and played physical.
Coach Mike Washington, inside the HBCU Sports Lab, 1200 Houston, Texas. It seemed like the offensive strategy took kind of a 180 somewhere at the beginning of the third quarter. You kind of went away from the run. What was the exact change in strategy? Because your passes, the number of pass attempts seemed to go up astronomically in the second half.
When you're down by 2 touchdowns and all that kind of stuff, I wish we could run it that good to score from distance. But it changed with the play calling. Now you have to pass to try to catch up, and I thought we did a real good job of doing that. Just couldn't get the stops that we needed at the time to regain that lead. So,
Donald.
Donald Ware, Coach. First of all, have you ever been part of a game like this? And then second, what allowed you to be successful against A&T's defense in the second half?
The biggest thing, you make an adjustment that you need to make as a coach, and I thought the offensive staff did a great job of doing that. I thought coming back in the second half would do a better job against the pass. Those things there, just can't happen the way it did, but would have never expected a game to be like this. I would have never guessed it.
In the back.
Coach Joe Cook, 16 WAPT. As a head coach, how do you go about assessing the season when it ends this way? Are you anticipating making changes to the defensive staff or anything like that, or how do you assess, how this year was and how it ended, as you guys enter the off season now?
As a head coach, you always thinking about things, but this is a great football staff I have. And these guys, they do a real good job of doing the things they do to get these young men to play as hard as they can during the course of the week practice, get them going to class, and those are the things that's behind the scenes. People don't really see what this staff do. But no, it's never in my mind right now ever to make any change to this coaching staff. I hope these guys will stay with me. That's the biggest thing. Some of the guys, when you're being successful in a football program as a position coach, people have their eyes on you. So that is the biggest thing that I will have to think about. It's not that I will get rid of my staff. They may determine to just leaving me. I hope they don't, but try to make it right for them to stay.
2 more questions.
Coach, third Celebration Bowl, third loss to A&T. Through these 3 games, I mean, is there anything that with each game you take away and say, okay, well, this is what we have to improve on going forward to where you could finally get over that hump?
Yeah, just coming into the game, I thought we did everything through the course of the week to prepare for it. 3 times against the same team is tough. You have to look back at the things that you did and the thing that you didn't do. You don't never second guess yourself as a coach, and I never will do that. But the things that we did well, and when things that we have to improve on, we will get back to work on it.
Macy?
Coach, back-to-back appearances in this game. How does this affect your recruiting for your 2020 class that's coming in the fall?
And I tell you what, it's been a great year for us already in recruiting. So it's a phenomenal job getting guys to come to Alcorn State University to further their education and their football career. But, just playing in the Celebration Bowl, it means a lot. It give us an edge on some of the SWAC schools in terms of recruiting. We signed a few guys during December signing day, so that was big for us. Won't have to work as hard in January on the revision weekends to get guys to come to school. So it's been good for us, man. So I can't complain about anything that this team have done over this course of this year. It's been a great year for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.